right in the kisser.
Hey, how the devil are you? Right, today we're talking about speaker cable, and in particular this Micca, oh it's noisy isn't it, it's rattly, Micca or Micca speaker cable. Now I've looked up the pronunciation and on Google it says it's Micca, but some people call it Micca, so whatever, I'm going to call it Micca. Yeah, so someone in the comment section a few weeks back asked what I thought about Micca cable, Micca speaker cable or Micca speaker cable. And I said I'm not familiar with it, but I've seen that Steve Huff over Hi-Fi Huff on his channel, he raves about it, says it's cracking cable and it's only 40 quid, bargain. We'll have a little more of a closer look at that Micca speaker cable in a sec. But whenever I talk about speaker cable and do tests with speaker cable, the comments get a little bit spicy. Why, Yoda? Now, you've got two sides, and a lot of people in the middle, okay? But you do get two opposing sides. You've got the one side which say people who spend thousands on speaker cable, you're stupid, you're wasting your money, you're an idiot. Oh my God. There's no need to spend thousands of pounds on speaker cable, you idiot. You may as well just use lamp cord.
Keyboard warrior.
And then you get the other side of the people who do spend thousands on speaker cable and say, your system's not revealing enough, you haven't got a good enough system to appreciate good speaker wire. So you've got two opposing sides. What I'd say is somewhere in the middle. If you've got the money and you want to buy expensive speaker cable, fill your boots, okay? Right. If you don't want to spend the money and you want to get lamp cord, by all means, fill your boots. Stop criticising others. It's up to them what they want to do, okay? This is a hobby, let's have fun. Now, I'll give you my stance on it. I wouldn't personally spend thousands of pounds on speaker cable or interconnects. I just wouldn't do it, no matter how expensive my system was or how revealing it was. But I do like to get decent cable, okay? I wouldn't use lamp cord, right? And again, people may disagree with me. Now, my current cable of choice is this one here. This is Amazon Basics, okay? This is 12 gauge oxygen-free copper cable, okay? And you can get 30 meters of this currently in the UK for around about £37 to £40, okay? There is an added expense if you want to put, you can use bare wire if you want to, but I put banana plugs on, so I've got to buy my own banana plugs and attach them, or spades, whatever. So that's an extra expense. Last year, I reviewed some WBC World's Best Cables, their high-end speaker cable, which is not ridiculously expensive, but I would say is expensive for speaker cable, for me personally. Some people may go, oh, that's pennies for me. But they're about £160, I think it is, for 2 meters for a pair. And I have to say, they were beautifully made, very well made, come in a beautiful box, very well wrapped, make a really nice gift for someone who's an audiophile, I think. And I think that was set, I had 7 gauge and 9 gauge. And it was stunning cable, looked the part. And if nothing else, it was definitely eye candy. You know, you got bragging rights with that cable. And I did test it against the Amazon Basics 12 gauge OFC. I couldn't really hear a difference, personally. I couldn't hear a difference. But maybe my system wasn't revealing enough. But anyway, so when that chap in the comments section said about the Micca cable, and then I looked it up and seen Steve Huff going mad over it, I thought, I've got to get some. I've got to get some. So first of all, let's get it out of the packet. And the thing is with this, right, this is, I think, 37 to 40 quid. And it also comes with the banana plugs as well, so no extra expense. This is 4 meters, 12 feet. 14 gauge this is. I think it's oxygen free as well. Yeah, but it is 14 gauge. There's no fancy packing or anything like that. It just is what it is, okay? Let's have a closer look at it. Okay, like I said, nothing fancy. Now it says designed in the USA, but I think it is a Chinese company. I've seen they do speakers as well, budget speakers. And for the price, they're quite, they're pretty decent. I'm not going to say they're the best, but for the price, relative to the price, they're pretty decent to what I've seen. I've not heard the speakers. Maybe I'll ask the company if I can get a set from them, on loan and try them out on this channel. You never know. I'll ask them. Yeah, so speaker cable, 14 gauge, 12 foot, 4 meters, pure copper speaker wire, gold plated banana plugs, 14 gauge, 12 feet, 4 meters. There you go. It says it's got EVERSOLO Consulting. I think that's a company based in London, maybe London, United Kingdom. And I think they just handle the distribution in the UK. That's all they do. Right, let's get it open. Let's have a look. It says new product seal. Product is not new if seal is broken. Well, the seal isn't broken. I'm not sure. Can I rip that, or do I need a knife? Oh, it is ripping. There we go. There we are. Take this off. Let's just look at this one first. So, yeah, it seems very well made. What does it say on there? Anything? Home audio, 14 gauge, pure copper, speaker cable. There we are. There's the gold-plated banana plugs there. I mean, nothing special, but perfect. Do the job. Cable seems quite flexible, easy to manipulate and maneuver. Cool. Right, what I want to do now is get them hooked up to my hi-fi and do a sound comparison between my current cable, which is the 12 gauge OFC cable from Amazon Basics. So what do you think of that? Now, the best way to listen to a sound test is via headphones. The reason being is it's difficult enough to listen to sound tests over YouTube anyway. And if you listen to it via your system, you're going to be hearing my room and the reflections in my room and your room and the reflections in your room, it's not going to give you the best interpretation of the test. So I always recommend listening through headphones, okay? I'll give you what I thought, and it surprised me actually. I thought the Micca cable sounded a lot better. Well, a lot better. It wasn't night and day, but I think it sounded better. I've always liked the sound of the 12 gauge Amazon Basics cable, the OFC cable. However, in comparison, I do think the Amazon Basics cable sounded a bit muddier in the bass. The bass seemed a little bit more muddled. And the Micca cable actually gave a bit more, brought the mids a bit more forward, opened up the sound a little bit, gave a bit more sparkle to the top end, and also cleared up that muddy bass. So the bass was a lot more accurate. I'm actually quite surprised how good it is for 40 quid. Absolute bargain. And I'm definitely going to get some. They do a shorter set at 2 meters, which I'll pop onto here. I think that's £23. Absolute bargain. So I'll get a shorter set for here and I'll keep the others. I'm definitely keeping it. Really, really good. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Well, that's come to the end of an interesting video, I think, and I'll catch you in the next one.